Happy Monday morning to you. This Monday, December the 8th, 2025. We're starting the next round of the 1987 American League schedule. We're at June the 4th currently. There are only 4 games to be played on June the 4th. This is the first one we're going to play. Um, for one reason, I didn't put in the Fenway Park uh, ballpark effects. I'm not sure why I left those out. So let me fill those in here real quick. And I'll use what the computer is telling me. So 1 to 18 for lefties on singles, 1 to 15 for righties on singles. Home runs 1 to 3 and 1 to 6. So bad weather today at Fenway. According to the Strat computer, that's what we're going to go with. So those are the ballpark effects for Fenway Park. Um, like I said, for some reason I didn't fill this in. I don't know why, and the actual paperwork is downstairs. So I went with what the Strat computer is telling me, and it's telling me right now that there's bad weather at Fenway, and that's what we're going with. Game number 355 on the replay. Boston Red Sox, Detroit Tigers. Pitching matchup, Walt Terrell, a right-hander for the Tigers, against Bruce Hurst, a left-hander for the Red Sox. And Bruce Hurst was given the thumbnail to try to give him some good karma because they need it. They're 19 and 33. Detroit is 28 and 21. Both of them are pretty good at holding runners. Walt Terrell's a combined -5 when you combine it with Heath's -2. So he gets the -5. Hurst is a -3. Gedman's a -1. Hurst is a -2 for a -3. Wild pitch for Hurst is a 3. Balk is a 2. Terrell wild pitch 7. Balk 0. Gedman a very high pass ball rating of 12. Heath only a 5. We will have the first game for Bill Madlock to start for the Tigers after the trade. They acquired him from the Dodgers. So this will be his first game with the Tigers since that acquisition. And we will get the game on the computer already, so we'll get this going here shortly. Bruce Hurst 15 and 13 with a 4.41 ERA real world. He is 1 and 7 in the replay with a 6.16. So obviously having a rough start of it to this point, plus probably not getting the run support he would hope either. Good morning, Mr. Jeffrey Goodman. How are you, sir? Hope you were doing well. I caught a couple of your podcasts, not live, but I caught them after the fact. So good to hear your voice anyway. Hope you were in good spirits, or at least hopefully this, maybe seeing some Strat-O-Matic will get you in good spirits. I don't know. But we'll do what we can. And of course, can't have morning Strat without the coffee. So we have the ceremonial first sip. I don't suppose Chuck will oppose the ceremonial first sip. Maybe that's a no too. I don't know. I got all these things I'm not supposed to be doing per a couple of people, but I do them anyway. So, oh well. Maybe my lot in life now at this age is to piss people off. I don't know. So if that's my lot, then I need to try to do it well. I need to, if I'm going to tick people off, I ought to tick people off at a quality level, don't you think? I mean, why go halfway? Why not just do the whole thing? Hello, Jeremiah. Good to you. Good to see you. All right, so Lou Whitaker will lead off. Even though he's facing a lefty, they're going to have him leading off. And on the replay, he's hitting 279, 12 homers, 38 driven in. He is 265 real world. We're underway from Fenway, 6-4, and that's an in-home run chance right off the bat, 1 to 16, and that's gone. Lou Whitaker leads off the game with a home run. Lou Whitaker, 1 to 16 is a home run. That's a 14, and he's got the normal power. It's not clean. No baby wipes were needed, but it is a home run from Lou Whitaker to lead off the ball game. That is home run number 13. He is killing it with the home runs in this replay. He only had 16 the whole season in 600 at bats. He's got number 13 already at 191. He's on pace to hit about 30 home runs the way this thing is going. So, home run for Lou Whitaker. Tigers jump out in front 1-0. And I'll bring up Mike Heath, the catcher. He's hitting 286 on the replay. 3 homers, 16 driven in. He hit 281 real world. To 311, and that is a fly to center. That's going to be hauled in by Henderson, and Hurst gets the first out. That'll send up Kirk Gibson, left fielder. Gibson hitting .398 on the replay, 8 homers, 28 driven in. He hit .277 real world. 1-6 against the lefty. He's going to strike out. First strikeout for Hurst. And that'll send up Alan Trammell, shortstop. Trammell hitting .394 on the replay, 11 homers, 34 driven in. He hit .343 real world. 6-9, and that is a ground ball to second. Marty Barrett has it. So after the leadoff home run, Hurst settles down, but the Tigers do jump in front 1-0 over the Boston Red Sox. And now Walt Terrell, a right-hander, 17-10 with a .405 earned run average in the real season. And on the replay, Walt Terrell checks in 5-1 with an ERA of 4.31. So 4.05 to 4.3 runs, not too bad. I mean, he still only pitched maybe about a little over 25% of his total season. He's gone 65 innings in the replay, went 245 innings real world. So that's certainly within the standard deviation for a statistical nuts to feel like it's accurate. Henderson leading off, center fielder. He's hitting .244. 7 homers, 21 driven in. On the real season, he had .234. It's a 3-6, and that's a strikeout for Walt Terrell. Good start for Terrell as he gets the K on Henderson. One away, and here comes Marty Barrett. Hello, Frank. Good to see you. Marty Barrett hitting .293. No homers, 8 driven in. That's on the replay. And guess what? In the real season, he hit .293. So he's right on his number. Doesn't have any home runs yet. He hit 3 on the season, but no home runs to date. 410. Well, he's got a chance right here, although he does have weak power, so it's not going to be a home run. It would have been, but he's got the 1 to 11's a 3, but he's got weak power, so it's just going to be a single for Marty Barrett. The only way he gets home runs, Mr. Barrett, is on his own card, and they're very limited. In fact, the only place on here I think he gets a home run is right here on a 1-8. 1-8 with a 1-2, and that's the only way he gets a home run because he's weak everywhere else. So the only way, that's why he had a home run here, 1-8 against lefties for a 1-10. So he had to roll a 1-8, but he only had 3 home runs in 559 at bats. So that's the way to, if you're playing Strat Basic, that's a home run, and that wouldn't be very, very realistic. But it is going to be a base hit for Marty Barrett. Hello, Colin. Good to see you. All right, Barrett. Let's see. I don't think he's any threat to run. Well, he is technically, but that -5 over here would knock him to a 1-12 if he got the lead. And you got Wade Boggs coming up, so I think they're going to hold him there. They will hold him on, but they're not going to try to send him or anything like that. Yes, Kathy, Jeff Kent got in, which was, I don't have a problem with that. But to me, when I look at Jeff Kent, my first words out of my mouth are not, that's a Hall of Famer. The 2 guys that should have got in were Don Mattingly and Dale Murphy. Mattingly for sure. I mean, you can't, I look at Don Mattingly and I said, that's a Hall of Famer. So, but the Hall of Fame's a joke now. So here's Wade Boggs. He's hitting .353 on the replay. 10 homers, 27 driven in. He hit .363 real world. 6-3, and that's a fly ball right field. Terry Harper is a 2E16. 2 and a 4. That's trouble. 2 and a 4. 2 and a 4 is, he'll get to it. F1, he'll get to it. That's a 6, and he's an E16. There is a 6 right here, so it's going to be a 1 base error on Terry Harper, E9. And that'll move Barrett to second base. So the E9 puts runners at first and second. And here's Rice. I'm not so big on Delgado. I mean, he's all right, I guess, but I never looked at him as a Hall of Famer, that's for sure. All right, here's Jim Wright. And if Kent got in, what's going on with Lou Whitaker? I mean, Lou Whitaker should have been the second baseman that got in. So I don't know. I don't want to beat the dead horse. All right, here's 283 for his average on the replay for Jim Rice. 4 homers, 23 driven in. He hit 277 real world. But there's arguments all over the place where people think, certain percentage of people think that this guy should get in or this guy shouldn't get in or whatever. I don't know. 3-6, and that is a 1-2 double. That's a 3. I'm sorry, 1-6 double, and that's a 3. So it's a double 2 stars. That will score the run and move everybody else to second and third as Boggs makes third base on the double. And we got a tie ball game. Jim Rice, an RBI double. I mean, people think I'm crazy, but I still think Sandy Koufax is very much a borderline at best Hall of Fame pitcher. He had 4 dominating years. Everything else was mediocre. So, people say Don Mattingly only had 4 or 5 good years. Well, that's exactly what Sandy Koufax does. They were both the best in baseball for 4 or 5 years, and one got in and one didn't. So you tell me. All right, here's Greenwell. Infield is in. Greenwell's hitting 309, 8 homers, 20 driven in. But I know somehow Sandy Koufax is a sacred cow that you're never supposed to talk about, in a disparaging, and I'm not disparaging him. I'm just saying I don't think he belongs in the Hall of Fame. That's all. Or if he does, then Don Mattingly does. I mean, you can't use one criteria against the other. Or you shouldn't. So you can, but you shouldn't. 5-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That is Trammell. 1E21. The infield is in. 1-8. 1 and an 8. See if that's a G1. Should be. Yep. And that's a 17. That's iffy. E21 and a 17. That's a 2-base error on Alan Trammell. Look at that. Wow. E21 and a 17 is a 2-base error that will score both runs, and the Red Sox lead it 3-1. Wow. 2-base error on Alan Trammell. Speaking of Hall of Famers. But I mean, how can Alan Trammell get in and Lou Wick? I mean, to me, they were 2 peas in a pod. And they should go in tandem. It would have been very poetic to have them both go in the same year, in my opinion. But that's just me. All right. So here's Dwight Evans. And don't even get me started about Drysdale, because that's a joke in itself. As is Phil Rizzuto and Pee Wee Reese. All right, here's Dewey Evans. Evans hitting 320, 9 homers, 35 driven in. He at 305 real world. Terrell a 2, chance for balk or pass ball. Pass ball chance on Heath is a 5. And it is a 5, so it will be a pass ball on Heath. Boy, the Tigers are very sloppy in this game. That's going to put the runner at third base with 1 out, and now the infield's going to have to come in because of that. That's certainly going to up Dwight Evans' batting average by bringing the infield in. 2-6, and that's a 1-9 single. Line out to short on a 10-20. That's a 1. Double dies a 1. It's a base hit, and that will score an unearned run. 2 errors in the inning by the Tigers. They're just like they didn't wake up today or something. I don't know what's going on. 4 runs for the Red Sox. They lead at 4-1. And here's Bill Buckner. Buckner hitting 246, 3 homers, 20 driven in. Hit 286 real world. 3-9, and that is a ground ball second base A. That's a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play, 4-6-3. To finally end the inning, but a 4-score inning for Boston to take a 4-1 lead after 1. And I want to go to the Strat computer and see what it tells me. I think 2 of the runs are unearned, but I'll double check it. See how Strat scored it for Terrell. They're giving no runs are earned. 4 runs and none of them are earned. How about that? 4 runs and none were earned. I guess that makes sense because this should have been the second out. And now to put you could make a case that one of the runs should have been earned. I can make a case for this run being earned because that double, although it was a 2-star double, so yet technically a 2-star double, he would have been at. With this out, he would have just been to third base. And that, yeah, I can make sense. Okay, I can agree with that. No earned runs. That makes sense. Makes sense to me. And people are automatically going to say Shohei Ohtani should be in the Hall of Fame. Maybe. How many years has he played? What's your criteria? To me, hello, Joel Turney. How are you? To me, a Hall of Fame also talks about characters, and to me, Shohei Ohtani is a unique character. So, yeah, I could see him getting in the Hall of Fame. Even if he never played another game, I could see him getting the Hall of Fame just on what he's done in the last 3 or 4 years and being so unique. I could see that. Hello, are you ready? In case I didn't catch you earlier. All right, here's Bill Matlock, and Matlock will make his season debut for the Tigers in this game. He was on the roster at the previous game, but I never used him. So he is making his season debut. On the regular season, he hit .279 with 14 home runs and 326 at-bats. But this is his first turn at it. Right here. 5-9, and that is a strikeout. For the life of me, I can't figure out why Roger Clemens is not in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he was a Hall of Famer before, and he kind of enhancing drugs came along. Saw what he did in '86. Just that one. I mean, you could see the talent there. So to me, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. Here's Larry Herndon. He hit .311, 4 homers, 13 driven in, 324. Real world. 4-5, and that is a fly to center. 2 down. I think some people in the collecting world are banking on that too, because there's some people. Roger Clemens is still very collectible in the collectible world. I guess people are thinking you get him now while he's cheaper, and then if he goes in the Hall, then his stuff will go up in value. Wouldn't want to play that game, but some people do. All right, that's good coffee, Jeff. Here's Chet Lemon. Lemon hitting .202 on the replay, a homer, 8 driven in. He hit .277 real world. 6-6, and that's a single to left field. Single to left. Chet Lemon's on, and that's going to bring up Terry Harper, right fielder. He had that big 2-base error that got everything started in the bottom of the inning. Harper on the replay hitting .268, 3 homers, 12 driven in. He hit .203 real world. Oh, almost had a havoc roll, but not quite. 1-5 against the lefty, and he'll walk. So the first walk issued by Hurst. Takes us to the number 9 hitter, Tom Brookins, third baseman. Brookins on the replay hitting .278, 2 homers, 14 driven in. He hit .241. Real world. That's a 6-4, and that's an in-home run chance, 1-19. I do believe it's gone, Jeff. It's not clean, but it's gone. 1-19 for an in-home run chance. That's a 3. It's Katie bar the door. A 3-run home run from Tom Brookins, of all people, and we got a tie game at 4. Can anybody pitch in this game? Brookins, home run number 3 on the replay. He had 13 real world, but that's home run number 3 on the replay. And we are tied at 4 apiece here in the top of the second inning. Back to the top of the order, and Lou Whitaker. Whitaker homered to lead off the game. 5-9, that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3 for Hurst, but a 3-run bomb by Tom Brookins has tied this game at 4 apiece, going to the bottom of the second. Gonna bring up Rich Gedman. Gedman on the replay. Gedman is hitting .130. No homers, 5 driven in. He hit .205 real world. 2-2 for Gedman, and that's a fly to center field. Hauled in by Mr. Chet Lemon. One down for Spike Owen, shortstop. Owen hitting .220 on the replay, a homer and 6 driven in. He at .259 real world. 5-4, switch hitter batting left as a catcher X. We're looking at Heath, he's a 2E3. 2 and a 15 shouldn't be any issue at all. Nobody's on base, so there's no worries about wild pitches or anything. 2 and a 15 is actually going to be a foul out, assuming there's no error. That's a 12, and he is an E3. No 12 there, so just a foul out for out number 2. 2 down, and that's going to flip the order over to Dave Henderson. He struck out his first chance. 6-11, that's a ballpark blast. It's only a 1-6, and that's an 18, so that's going to be a deep fly to left to end the inning. So nothing going on there. We go to the top of the third, still 4-4 now. Both pitchers trying to catch their breath and regroup. Hurst facing Mike Heath. 2-6, and that is a ground ball to short, 1 away. Of course, the other, if you're into college football, the other big note is that Notre Dame is opting out of the bowl games because they did not get selected for the playoff. So that was kind of the big news there, not to have Notre Dame in any kind of bowls. Here is Kirk Gibson. 1-8, and that's a double, 1-18. That's what we got. Kirk Gibson, a 1-out double. Back come the Tigers again to try to take the lead. And actually, I think 2 other schools have opted out. I think Iowa State and maybe Kansas State, somebody like that. Some of the lower echelon teams have opted out as well. But clearly, Notre Dame, it was simply a, if you're not going to put us in the playoffs, we're not going to play kind of thing. Taking our ball and going home kind of thing. That's a 1. So Hurst on a wild pitch is only a 3, which I think is a terrible move. I mean, you had a nice season, reward your seniors with the bowl game, but oh well. Here is Trammell. 3-8, and that's a walk. It does set up a double play if you're looking for a silver lining for a walk. It does set up a double play for Bill Madlock. Madlock actually struck out his first chance. 1-7, and he will strike out again. So an inauspicious start here for Bill Madlock. Strikeout number 4 for Hurst. 2 down, clutch situation for Larry Herndon, the designated hitter. Flew to center his first chance. 6-10, and that is a catcher X. Again, now we're looking at Gedman. 3E15, and plus there's a runner on base, so that can certainly make a difference. That's a 20, though. He'll get away with it. So a 3 and a 20 is a G2. That's a 10. And an E15, there's an 11, but no 10. So a shaky play, but Gedman manages to get out in front of the plate and throw Herndon out to end the inning. So Hurst escapes unscathed. We go to the bottom of the third. Still 4-4 here at Fenway. And leading things off for the Red Sox will be Marty Barrett. Singleton scored his first time up. 6-8, and that's a single again. So Marty Barrett, 2 for 2. Don't think he's related to Rona Barrett, but I could be wrong. They will hold him on, but again, that -5, they will not send him. Here's Wade Boggs. 1-6 for Boggs. That's trouble. 1-2 is a triple. That's a 16, so he'll settle with a double to center field. Lemon is a -1 arm. Barrett runs at a 15, being held at a 14. Be a 1-13. But with nobody out and the big boys coming up, they're going to just hold him at second base. No sense taking any gamble there when you got the big guys coming up. So with Rice and Greenwell and Evans coming up, let them do the dirty work. All right, here's Rice. Infield for the Tigers is playing in. 5-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Trammell, 1E21 for Trammell. 1-17 should be good to hold the runners. Should be a ground ball A. 1-17 is a ground ball A. That is a 14. Last time he made a two-base error. Let's see. He is an E21, and that's a 14. 15 is an error. He had a 17 last time. 15 is an error, but not a 14. So he makes the play, and that'll keep the runners right where they are. Everybody holds. No way. The only way to get them online is to buy the computer game. That's the way you get them, Mr. Wizard. If you buy the computer game get the card imaging, and that way a graphical representation of the card comes on the screen. That's how you get them. And then if you wanted to go through the trouble of taking those and snipping them and putting them into Word document and printing them, you could do that. But you can always play the game cards and dice and do a manual entry on the computer. It's sort of like playing cards and dice. You just, instead of having the cards on the table, they're up on the screen. So if you do that, you can do that. So I'll show you what I mean here in a second here, Mr. Wizard. I'll show you. Let me show you this real quick. I'll take a picture of what I'm talking about. I just took a picture of the Mike Greenwell card. So let me turn the overhead off here and see how this looks. It may not look too good on my stream. Unfortunately, it's not working too well sometimes. But anyway, whoops. Anyway, that's the Mike Greenwell. I know the glare is horrible, so it's hard to see it. But that is the Mike Greenwell card. And I just can't get this thing to show up well at all, can I? The way this thing, maybe the light looks better. I don't know. Maybe the light does better with it. Probably not. No, the ring light's not going to work. It's really hard to see it on here, but that's the way they look on the computer screen. Is basically it's an image of this on graphically, and you can see. I guess you can see at least a little bit, maybe. Kind of blurry though. Hard to see. That's Mike Greenwell's card, obviously. But that's what they look like anyway. If you buy the computer game, that's what comes up on the screen, but you have to get it with the card imaging. I know it costs extra. It costs extra, and make sure. I mean, when you buy the Strat Computers game, and they should be having a sale very shortly because they always like to get a sale. They usually have a sale in December at some point around Christmas time to sell it really cheap. The previous year's game because they're getting ready for the upcoming year's game. But so sometimes they'll sell it. Well, you can get a good deal on that. But the important thing is if you do that, if you purchase that, you have to buy the card imaging at the time of purchase. It is not something you can add on later. That's the whole thing with them. You have to buy it at the time. That's the kicker. So, and I would not play the Strat computer without the card imaging. I got to have the card imaging. So, anyway, that's just my 2 cents. So back to the game. Mike Greenwell is up, and the runner is still at second and third with 1 out, so the infield is still in. I agree, Justin. That's if you saw my good, bad, and ugly, that was one of my big things. I don't know why. And if they come out with, say, 1979, if they redo the 1979 card season, yeah, you can get the cards physically, but if you want 79 on the computer, you got to buy the new computer game because your old computer game will not run the new 1979 season, assuming that's what comes out. Whatever the new season, it will not run. So, all right, infield in. Carroll to Greenwell, 5-9, and that's a pop up to first base. So how about that? Walt Terrell pitching carefully, gets the first 2 outs with no advancement. And now the infield back to normal for Dwight Evans. It is a clutch situation for Evans. And in the clutch, he does gain a hit on 210. That's it. Everywhere else, he's neutral. Hello, world's worst. Terrell to Evans, 1-9, and that's a strikeout. And Terrell gets out of it. Second and third, nobody out, and he gets out of the mess undamaged. Wow, Red Sox really blew an opportunity there to make some hay. Couldn't get it done. It might come back to bite him later. Top of the fourth we go, Bruce Hurst, and he'll be facing the bottom of the order, Lemon, Harper, and Brookins. Of course, it was Brookins that hit the 3-run homer that tied the game in the first place. 2-9, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. Spike Owen will make that play. 1 down. Here's Terry Harper. 2-7, and he's going to ground it to third. Wade Boggs is there. 2 up, 2 down. Could we get a 3 up and 3 down inning? Bruce Hurst has not had one yet. Walt Terrell's had one, but Bruce Hurst has not had a 3 up, 3 down inning just yet. Got a chance if he can get Tom Brookins. Of course, Brookins took him deep last time. 1-9, and this time he pops him up to Marty Barrett. So how about that? 3 infield outs. Easy 1-2-3 inning for Hurst to keep the score at 4-4 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. And top of the order coming up for bottom of the order coming up again for the Red Sox. Buckner, Gedman, Spike Owen, Billy Buck. 4-8, left-hander. 1-4 is a double. That is a 4. So Bill Buckner hobbles his way to second base for a double. Buckner had 18 doubles. He actually had 2, believe it or not, Buckner, as slow as he ran, had 2 triples. That's got to be a Fenway thing where it got in that triangle or something. I don't know, but I just can't imagine him legging out 2 triples, but he did. And here's Gedman. Flew to center his first chance. 6-5. He's going to line it right to Alan Trammell for out number 1. 1 away for Spike Owen. 1-8 for Owen, and he's going to draw a base on balls. And again, another silver lining, if you want to look for one, is that it does set up a double play for Dave Henderson. Henderson is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fly to left. 3-12, and that is a ballpark blast for Henderson. It's 1-6, but that's a 19. That's a deep fly to left. Out number 2. So Henderson just got up under 1. Just short of the green monster. Mr. Gibson makes the play. 2 down, and now we got a clutch situation for Marty Barrett, who is 2 for 2. And in the clutch, he loses a hit on 1-12 and on 3-8 and on 2-8. So and on 3-5. So he's got 4 hits taken away in the clutch. So not quite as good in the clutch. 2-8, and he just found a clutch hit. Or anti-clutch hit, I should say. Should have been a single to right field, but that's an anti-clutch on the 2-8. So he will pop it up to short, and that will end the inning. So Barrett not able to come through in the clutch. In the old days, they called that choking. Probably can't say that anymore. It's probably politically incorrect to say choking. I don't know. I don't care. If there's anything politically incorrect, I'm all for it. Here is Lou Whitaker. 1-5, and that's a ground ball to first. 1 away. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Here is Mike Heath. Heath, 3-7, and that is a split chance. 1-8 is a single. That's a 16. He will line it to short. 2 up and 2 down. That is now, unbelievably, 7 in a row retired by Hurst. 7 in a row. And that brings up Kirk Gibson. 3-8 for Gibson, and that's going to be a single. 1-5. That's a 2, so Kirk Gibson gets himself a base hit. He's going to look to get the lead. He needs a 5 or a 6. Doesn't get it, doesn't matter. So that'll bring up Alan Trammell. And again, this is Virginia, but we're expecting in this area about 3 to 4 inches of snow today. So just had the snow Friday, and we're going to have it again today. And I think tomorrow it's supposed to be down to tonight into the overnight, it's supposed to be down into the mid-teens. So A lot of freezing is going to happen. Good thing I don't have to go out in it like I used to. All right, here's Trammell. 1-5, and that's a home run, 1-17, and that's a goner. Alan Trammell, home run. Look at it again, 1-5 against lefties is a 1-17. That's a 5, and it's gone. 2-run homers, so much for the 7 in a row retired by Hurst. That didn't last long. A seemingly innocent 2-out single from Gibson, and Alan Trammell hits home run number 12 on the replay. He had 28 real world. That's RBI 35 and 36, and the Tigers take a 6-4 lead on Bruce Hurst. And here comes Madlock. Madlock has struck out twice. 6-3 ballpark single check. That'll get him going 1-15, but that's a 20. Boy, talk about the bad breaks. That 20 is going to take away what should have been a base hit. And now we go to the bottom of the 5th. It is 6-4. And Bruce Hurst may be on the verge of needing some relief. Here's Wade Boggs. Boggs will lead off. 110, and that is a single, straight up single to center field. So Boggs 2 for 3. Tying run back at the plate for Jim Rice. He's certainly capable of tying the game. 4-7, and that's ground ball second base X. They were not holding Boggs on, so Whitaker will keep his 2E20. 12, this might be a double play chance. It is. That is an 11, and he is an E20. There is no 11, so it will be a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play, 4-6-3. Talk about a quick way to kill a rally right there. The old twin killing, 4-6-3 double play. Second one turned by the Tigers. And that'll bring up Greenwell with 2 outs and the bases empty. 2-5, and that's a ballpark blast for Greenwell, though. It's only a 1-3, and that's a 12. So that'll be a deep fly to right, and that will end the inning. So we go to the top of the 6th with a 6-4 game. Hurst still hanging on. He'll be facing Herndon. 1-5 for Herndon, struck him out. For Hurst, that is strikeout number 5. Brings up Chet Lemon. Lemon is 1 for 2. 1-7, and he's going to strike out as well. Strikeout number 6. So Hurst showing that he's got a little bit left in the tank. Here's Terry Harper. 1-5, and that's a base on balls. For Hurst, that I believe is his 3rd walk to go with 6 strikeouts. And here comes Brookins. Harper not being held at first base. Brookins. 1-8 for Brookins. That's going to ground it to Spike Owen at short to end the inning. So Hurst at least makes it through 6 innings. We'll see if he comes back for the 7th or not, but he at least makes it through 6 innings. But 6 runs allowed, and he's on the short end of a 6-4 ball game. Here's Walt Terrell. Back out. He'll be facing Evans, Buckner, and Gedman for the Red Sox here in this bottom of the 6th. 110, and that's going to be a ballpark blast. It's only a 1-6, but that's a 4. It's gone. Dwight Evans, courtesy of Fenway Park, has just deposited one over the Green Monster. Cut the lead to 6-5. Dewey Evans. Home run number 10 on the replay for Evans. He had 34 in the season. That's home run number 10, RBI number 37. 6-5 ball game, and here comes Bill Buckner, who doubled his last time up. 1-9, and he's going to get a base hit. So maybe Terrell might be needing some relief. Keep an eye on that. Rich Gedman, your batter. .27 for Gedman, struck him out. Not that many strikeouts for Terrell, just his third. And that'll send up Spike Owen. .310 for Owen, and that's another strikeout. Strikeout number 4. Flip the order over to Dave Henderson. He is 0 for 3. Could definitely use one. 5-7 is a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Trammell. He's a 1E21. We know he's going to get to it with the 1. We're looking at the E21, and that is a 15. That's iffy. E21 and a 15. And that's an error right there. Second error of the game on Trammell. E21, and that's a 15. Second error of the game on Trammell. This one, a 1-base error. And it keeps the inning going. That is the third error by the Tigers in this game. Definitely sloppy fielding for Detroit. And now that makes a clutch situation for Marty Barrett. Remember, he just lost a hit in the clutch in his previous at-bat. Found that 2-8, which was anti-clutch. He's in the clutch again. 3-7, and that's a walk. It's going to load the bases for Wade Boggs, and we might get a new pitcher. With the lefty Boggs coming up, Terrell might be pulled here. Sparky's contemplating a move. We look at the bullpen for the Tigers. They have 2 lefties. They have Mark Thurman and Willie Hernandez. And they're going to go with Willie Hernandez. All right, hold on, folks. I got a phone call coming I got to take. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, folks. That was the missus on the phone. And of course, get a woman on the phone, it's hard to get them off the phone. And yes, I said it, and I mean it, and I believe it. It's just the way it is. So, anyway, not a bad thing. It just is. That's all. All right. So, Willie Hernandez will be coming on to face Wade Boggs with the bases loaded and 2 outs in definitely a clutch situation. Terrell is going to go a total of 5 2/3 innings, and we'll do the rest of it on the computer later. Right now, I need to bring in, let's see here, what's going on at Evans. Wait a minute, something didn't go right on the computer. I got to fix the computer. Somehow or another, Evans, I must have given Evans a hit by pitch instead of a home run. Sometimes those H's, when you try to do them in a hurry, there's 2 slots, either a home run or a hit by pitch, and I must have given him hit by pitch because I put him on first base. So let me do that, get back to where I need to be, and then we can get going here. Okay. Mr. Evans, get over here. Yeah, I don't know. I gave him a single instead of a home run. I don't know why I did that. That was weird. All right, so Evans homers. But you know what I did is I forgot to give him the home run on the computer, and then when Buckner singled, I credited that to that. Happens sometimes when you forget to type it in as you go. So it's a strikeout and a strikeout. And then a 1 base error on Trammell. And then the walk loads the bases. And now we bring in Willie Hernandez. Willie Hernandez. In fact, on the Strat computer, they have him as Guillermo Hernandez. Hernandez on the 87 season was 3-4 with 8 saves and a 3.67 ERA. On the replay, he is 0-0 with 2 saves, but an ERA of 8.10. No, Justin, it wasn't from Glenheads, that's for sure. No, but the snow is really coming down out there, and I guess they were slow at her work, and they told her to just go ahead and go home early so she can get home before the weather gets bad. Now, tomorrow morning's going to be a bear, but we'll deal with that in the morning. All right. Actually, I think it was Chuck trying to call, but it was blocked, so I don't know. All right, here's Wade Boggs. I think Chuck was trying to call in with a trivia question, but I could be wrong. 4-8, and that's a fly ball to left field, so Willie Hernandez gets out of it and keeps the Red Sox from taking the lead or tying the score. And that'll keep Walt Terrell as the pitcher of record with a chance to get a win if the Tigers can hold the lead and never give it up. Get the final numbers on Mr. Terrell. See what he did. Walt Terrell, 5 2/3, 9 hits, 5 runs, only 1 was earned because all 4 in the first inning were unearned. He walked 2, struck out 4, but he is in line to possibly go to 6-1. Now let's see about Bruce Hurst in the top of the 7th and see what he does. So far, he's given up. Well, he's had a devilish outing. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned. So 6, 6, 6, 6, 3 walks and 6 strikeouts. To walk 6, he'd have a complete line of nothing but 6s there. Out of 3 are left-handed, Whitaker and Gibson. So they're going to keep her. Bullpen is active for the Red Sox. Look at their bullpen. And it looks to be Calvin Schiraldi is actually loose in the bullpen. Calvin Schiraldi. He's the most rested. But right now it's Bruce Hurst against Lou Whitaker. Lefty. 1-8. Struck him out. Hurst now with strikeout number 7. He's gotten Whitaker twice. And that'll send up Mike Heath. Four, 5, and that is a fly ball to center field, hauled in by Dave Henderson. 2 down. And that will take us to Kirk Gibson. That's a 4-8, and that's a strikeout for Hurst again, strikeout number 8. So he keeps full endurance into the 8th inning, does Bruce Hurst. Not sure if they're going to bring him back against Trammell and Madlock. They might go ahead and go to the right-hander, Schiraldi. I think they will. I think they're going to go ahead and cap Hurst at 7 innings. And Schiraldi will come in to pitch in the 8th inning. So Hurst is going to go 7 innings. We'll get the numbers on Hurst. Complete numbers on Hurst. Got some of the 6s out of there. So it's 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. That is his total. But he's on the hook to drop to 1-8 unless Boston can secure some offense. Willie Hernandez back out. Will face Rice, Greenwell, and Evans. Could pinch hit for Greenwell with a righty potentially. We'll see how that goes. Although Greenwell's a pretty good hitter. I hate to take him out of the lineup. 3-7 for Rice, and that's going to be a single 1-16. That's a base hit for Jim Rice. He's 2 for 4 now, rather. Tying run on base now in Jim Rice. Do they pinch run for Jim Rice is the question. Or do you like to have his? I mean, he may bat again, so that's the only problem. So I think they're going to leave Rice on the base paths. And Greenwell, it's hard to pinch hit for a guy who hit 328. Although he only had 18% of his at-bats against lefties. But he does decently against lefties, so what do they have on the bench? Let's see, they got any right-handers on the bench that are worth anything? They got Don Baylor, of course, so they're going to pinch hit for Greenwell with Don Baylor. They're going to make the move. McNamara is going to play percentages here. So Don Baylor will pinch hit here in the bottom of the 7th inning. With that phone call and everything, I forgot to go heat my coffee, but that's a minor issue. I can live without that. I just don't want to have 2 breaks in the same stream. That's just too much for people to, especially for people to come to watch it later. So we'll go ahead and drive on. So Don Baylor will get the call. On the season, Don Baylor hit 245 with 16 home runs. On the replay, he's hitting 237 with 5 home runs. So Hernandez to Baylor. That's a 4-10. Fly ball center field X. We're looking at Lemon. He's a 2-E4 for Chet Lemon. 2-E4. 2 and a 17. 2 and a 17 is an F3. E4 and E4, and he's an E4. 4 and a 12, I should say. E4 and I see hope the snow's not messing up my stream. E4 and a 12. There is no 12 there, so it's good play. So Baylor. So let's write him in. Baylor is now the DH. But he's out. We're out number 1. As Lemon makes the play. And here comes Dwight Evans, who had that home run his last time up, courtesy of Fenway Park. 6-5 for Hernandez. He might do it again. 1-2, though, was a home run. That's a 10. So he's going to fly to right field. So just got up under it a bit. Harper makes the catch. 2 down, and that will bring up Bill Buckner, but they will pinch hit for Buckner for sure. Billy Buck will be pulled back, and they will go to Ellis Burks to pinch hit, and then to play first base. To play first base, they're going to bring in. Actually, you know what? They're not going to use Burks. They're going to use Ed Romero. He's got a similar average. So Romero will pinch hit and stay in the game and play first base. That seems to make more sense. We'll keep Burks in case they want to bring in a different outfielder or something. So Romero will pinch hit in the 7th and play first base in the 8th. So Ed Romero gets the call to pinch hit. On the season, he had 272 on the regular season. Let's see what he's doing on the replay. Buckner had a couple of hits, but now it's a tough lefty up there. I don't think they like that matchup. So they're going to go with Romero. On the replay, Romero's hitting .304. No homers, 9 driven in, and 125 at bats. So they're hoping he can do something against Mr. Hernandez. 5-11, and that is a ballpark blast. He's got weak power, though. That's a 6. It would have been a home run for Romero. It would have been a 2-run home run, but he has weak power. So that will be a single 2 stars. And now if you play devil's advocate, had Ellis Burks been in the game, that would have been a 2-run homer. But had Ellis Burks been in the game, I might not have rolled what I rolled. So never can tell. But it is a single 2 stars because of the weak power. I don't think Buckner had. Yeah, Buckner had weak power against lefties, so he wouldn't have gotten a home run either. He would have gotten the same result. So now we get a pinch hitter for Rich Gedman. And I think this is where we're going to go with Ellis Burks. So Ellis Burks is going to pinch hit for Gedman. And then coming in to catch will be Mark Sullivan. So this is kind of turned into a National League kind of style play here with all these changes. So Burks will pinch hit. And then Sullivan will come in and catch in the 8th. All right. Burks on the replay, 272 with 20 home runs. And this is a clutch situation, obviously. So bring in Burks on the computer, see what he's done on the replay. But obviously much, much better than Gedman, particularly against lefties. So Burks on the replay hitting .240 with 6 home runs already. Clutch situation against the lefty, though. Look at this line. 1-8, 1-9, and 1-10 are all outs. So is 2-10, and so is 3-12. So we've got 5 outs in the clutch. That's a 1 on Willie Hernandez. He could wild pitch in a run, get his wild pitch rating off the computer. Hernandez's wild pitch rating is a 4. No wild pitch, so avoids the wild pitch. Here's Burks. 5-11, and that's a ballpark blast. He has normal power, but that's a 12. It's out of range. Just a deep fly to left, and that's going to do it. Red Sox got close, but couldn't quite seal the deal there. And Hernandez left them empty-handed. Go to the 8th inning. Still 6-5 Detroit. And now on the computer, we need to bring in Mark Sullivan to catch. That will leave Glenn Hoffman as the only bench player remaining, a backup infielder. He is the last one remaining. So Sullivan will come in to catch, and Ed Romero will stay in the game to play first base. And Schiraldi will come on and pitch for Boston. So let's bring in Schiraldi from the bullpen. Schiraldi on the real season was 8-5 with a 4.41 ERA and 6 saves. On the replay, Schiraldi is 2-4, 5.57 ERA and 3 saves. So it'll be Schiraldi taking on Trammell, Madlock, and Herndon with the Tigers in a 6-5 ball game. 2-6 against the righty for Trammell is a single. Anti-clutch, but nobody's on base. So single is good. Now let's check the hold rating on Schiraldi. He's a +4, so that means Trammell has some chances to do something. He's a +4. Sullivan at catcher is a 0. So Schiraldi a +4 hold. So that means that Trammell's going to try to get the lead. He needs a 5 to get the good lead. And he gets the 5. How do you like that? 19, it's pretty much going to be automatic. He's going to steal. The only way he's out is on a 20. Sullivan's T rating is a 4. They'll go ahead and throw it down. Now, it's safe. Stolen base, no problem for. I think Sullivan knew he wasn't going to get him, but he threw down anyway. So Trammell's at second base, an insurance run for Bill Madlock. Madlock 0 for 3 in his debut here. 3-7 for Madlock, and he singles, gets his first hit of the year, a single to right field. But with Dewey Evans' arm out there, Trammell will put the brakes on with nobody out. Runners are at the corners. And that'll bring up DH Larry Herndon. DH Larry Herndon stepping to the plate against Schiraldi. Infield for the Red Sox is in. They got to choke this run off, or at least attempt to. 110. That's a line out to short, right to Spike Owens, so that certainly helps the cause. Now a double play could get him out of the inning. So they may shift their strategy and go for a double play here against Chet Lemon. Looks like they will. They're going to play back for the double play. See if they can induce Lemon to ground into one. 4-3. It's a ground ball pitcher X right back to Schiraldi. He is a 3E17. Computer tells me he's a 3 range, and the card tells me E17. So 3E17. 3 and a 15 for Schiraldi. 3 and a 15 is a G2. That's a 10, and he is an E17. There is no 10 here, so it's a G2. And they were playing back for the double play, but the pitcher is always considered in. So it's actually going to shift to a G2 with the infield in. So a G2 infield in with runners at the corners. It's on the batter. So the runner goes from first to second. Madlock will take second. But it's a 1-3 ground out as they check the runners. The runner at third, rather. Trammell has to stay where he is. And now with 2 outs, it's going to be up to Terry Harper. See what he can do here against Schiraldi. To 5-8, and he struck him out. Schiraldi gets out of the mess. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, still 6-5. And Willie Hernandez back out again. Hernandez has pitched an inning and a third. He's got a 2 for relief rating, so he's going to stay in there. He'll be facing Spike Owen, Dave Henderson, and Marty Barrett. They could pinch hit for Owen with Glenn Hoffman, but Owen's 259. That's better than Hoffman, so they're going to stick with Owen. That's a 4-11. Switch hitter batting right-handed. Ground ball first base X. That's Madlock. 4E18. I forgot to bring in Bergman for defense. I probably should have done that. Oh, well. 4-19. Madlock will maybe get away with it. 4-19. 4-19 is a G1. He's an E18, and that's a 10. E18, there's no 10 there. There's 11, 12, 14. So my oversight there, I got away with it. 3-1 put out. Should have brought in Bergman. I'm not going to do it in the middle of an inning, but I should have done it. I'll do it in the 9th. That's would have typically been the correct play. Just didn't think about it at the moment. So here's Dave Henderson. Top of the order. He's 0 for 4. 2-6. That's a 1-2 single. Anything else he lines out. So now he's 0 for 5 from the leadoff spot. And that'll take us to Marty Barrett. He's 2 for 2 when it's not a clutch situation. 4-2. This time he's going to ground it to Madlock, who again will flip to Hernandez to end the inning. So that's going to do it. Red Sox go down in order. 1, 2, 3. We go to the 9th. Still 6-5. It'll be Brookins, Whitaker, and Heath due up for the Tigers. Brookins, Whitaker, and Heath against Schiraldi. 3-11 for Brookins. That's a ballpark single. 1-15, but that's a 16. So the single will not come to fruition. It will be a liner to short. And there's one away. Double Die didn't cooperate this time. Grounder to short. Oh, line out to short. I'm not talking about grounder. Line out to short. All right. Now it's got a winter storm warning came over the phone. Like I didn't already know that from the weather. All right, here's Lou Whitaker. 5-6, and that's a ballpark blast. Whitaker only a 1-3 though, so that's going to be a fly to right field. 2 down. And now we're up to Mike Heath. And Bergman will be coming in to play first base in the 9th. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. 1-4, and that's a walk to Heath for Kirk Gibson. So Gibson's going to come on. Heath at first base, no real threat to run, I don't believe. No, he's no threat to run. So here's Gibson. One 9, and that is a 1-6 triple. 7-20 is a double. It's a double. It's assumed to go to center field. Heath runs at an 11, not being held as a 12. 2 outs makes him a 14. Henderson's a -2 arm makes him a 12. So it's a 1-12. 60% chance you have to send him. Gibson would take third on the throw, but a 1-12, he scores. 13-20, he's out. He scores, so it's an RBI double from Kirk Gibson. And the Tigers get an insurance run. And Gibson does take third on the throw. All this with 2 outs. And here's Alan Trammell. Trammell is your batter. 1-6 for Trammell. That's more trouble. 1-2 is a triple. 3-20 is a double. It's an RBI double. And boy, Schiraldi not getting it done here in the 6th inning. He is now tired, by the way. It is now an 8-5 ball game. Bill Madlock is still your batter. He was still in there. I never took him out yet. I was going to take him out and forgot to. So he's still in there. Hello, RGL. Yeah, I was lamenting that the Hall of Fame stuff earlier, but anyway, it is what it is. Here's Madlock, 4-5, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. So Madlock had a rough game. He got the hat trick, 3 strikeouts. But now Bergman will be coming in for defensive purposes in the 9th to play first base for Madlock. But 2 insurance runs come in, making an 8-5 ball game as we go to the bottom of the 9th. That will do it for Schiraldi. He goes 2 innings. And he's going to give up 4 hits and 2 runs. And let's see, he struck out 1, 2, walked 1, struck out 2, it looks like. So it looks like Terrell's in good shape to get a 6-1, or improve his record to 6-1 rather. Hernandez, does he come back out and pitch the 9th? I assume he does. Not tired yet. He's on the verge of being tired, but he can get the save if he can finish the game. He'll be facing Wade Boggs. All right, so Boggs facing Hernandez. But first of all, on the computer, I need to bring in Dave Bergman to play first base. Made that mistake last inning by not putting him in there. It almost cost the Tigers an error, but it didn't, fortunately for them. So Bergman is a 2E12. That's much better than the 4E18. So here's Boggs against Willie Hernandez, 1-5, and that's a home run, 1-19. That's gone. Wade Boggs, home run. He's a triple away from the cycle, but of course I have no chance to get that because unless you go extra innings, he won't get any more bats. So Wade Boggs, a home run. Look at it again. 1-5 is a 1-19 homer. For Boggs, that's home run number 11 on the replay. He had 24 real world. And now how big were those 2 runs? It's now 8-6. And here's Jim Rice. And now the Tigers are going to the bullpen. They're going to bring in Mike Henneman. Try to get the save. Willie Hernandez obviously gotten tired. So they're going to bring in Henneman. So it looks like, how many innings did he pitch? 2 1/3. He pitched 2 1/3. Did Hernandez. And let's see, he gave up 3 hits and a run. And no walks, no strikeouts. So Henneman is on. He is a -5 hold, so that makes him a -5. On the real season, we'll get his numbers. First of all, I need to put Boggs' home run in the computer. Now we'll go to the bullpen and get Henneman. Henneman is going to come on. On the real season, Henneman 11-3, 2.98 ERA, and 7 saves. On the replay, 2-3, 3.94 ERA, and 2 saves. So going for his 3rd save, and he'll be facing Jim Rice. That's why I didn't want to pinch run for Rice earlier, because I wanted him in the game later. So Jim Rice against Henneman, 1-9, and that's a solid single for Jim Rice. Now you can't pinch run for him because there's nobody left on the bench but Hoffman, and he doesn't run any better than what Rice does. So that's a single, and here comes Baylor. Remember, he pinch hit for Greenwell earlier. So here's Baylor. Tying run is now on base. Winning runs at the plate. That's a 1-4, and that's a fly to center field, hauled in by Lemon, 1 down. 1 away for Dwight Evans, who's already homered in the game. 4-5, and that is a single to center field off of Henneman. Rice will stop at second base. First and second, 1 out. And that's going to take us to Ed Romero. He pinch hit for Buckner against the lefty Hernandez, so this will be Romero's first at bat. It'll be Romero's first. Actually, he pinch hit and got a single. He's his second at bat. So he singled his first time up. But it was a home run chance, but a weak power, so he settled with the single. And now he's up there against the righty Henneman. 2-6 for Romero, and he's going to walk. That's going to load the bases. So the Tiger bullpen run into some big-time issues. Bases are loaded with 1 out. But now you've got Mark Sullivan batting, and you can't pinch hit for him because there's no other catchers around. They had pinch hit for Gedman with Burks, so now you got to deal with Sullivan. Bases are loaded, 1 out, and they're going to play back for the double play because Sullivan runs so slow. So they're going to play back for the double play. On the season, Sullivan hit 169 with 2 home runs. On the replay, he's hitting 186 with 2 home runs. Henneman, 3-5 and there you go, a double play. By playing back for the double play, they get out of the inning and win the ball game. 5-4-3 around the horn double play. We'll take care of it. And the Tigers hang on and win it by the score of 8-6, or 8-7 rather. 8-6 rather. I'm sorry, 8-6. They hang on and win it 8-6. Mike Henneman gets his 3rd save. The win goes to Terrell. He's 6-1. The loss goes to Hurst. He's now 1-8 on the replay. So Sullivan, they were in a bad spot. They had nobody else to pinch hit, or nobody to play catcher if they did pinch hit. So they were kind of in a really bad situation there, and it cost them with the double play to end the ball game. And now my thing here, let me fix this here, stays at his base. Okay. So the ball game is over. We'll go to the box score and get the totals. For the Red Sox, for the Tigers, 8 runs, 10 hits, and 3 errors. For the Red Sox, 6 runs, 14 hits, and no errors. Terrell, the winner, 6-1. Henneman, his 3rd save. Henneman went 1 inning, was a little shaky, 2 hits and a walk, but he survived thanks to the double play. Hurst, the loser, 1-8. His ERA increases to 6.30. Player of the game, Alan Trammell, is a good bet. So was Gibson. Gibson went 3 for 5. Trammell went 3 for 4. So I'm thinking about Trammell here. That 2-run homer is what gave them the lead, and they never lost it. So Allen, plus he had the double here, 2-run double here. So he had 4 runs batted in, 3 runs batted in actually. Why didn't he have 4 runs batted in? Oh, because he only went there. Okay, so he only had 1 RBI. This guy was already in based on that double. So he had 3 runs batted in. 3 for 4, 3 runs batted in. His average now is 4.03 on the replay. So Alan Trammell is your player of the game, Mr. Alan Trammell. Alan Trammell is your player of the game. So that is the first game on the June 4th docket. Remember, there's only 4 games because June the 4th was a Thursday, and it's a lot of traveling involved and so forth. So only 4 games on this Thursday, June the 4th. And the next game on the schedule for tomorrow, as we try to go east to west, that's what I like to do. That's why we started in Boston. So the next game, we're going to be in Milwaukee because the other 2 games are on the West Coast. So it'll be the Yankees and Brewers in a titan of a matchup, first place, second place matchup. Joe Niekro, the knuckleballer, against Teddy Higuera, the lefty. That'll be the matchup tomorrow from County Stadium in Milwaukee. But for today, Tigers win it. They hang on and win it by the score of 8-6, despite giving up 4 runs in the first. They hang on and win it, and also a solo home run by Boggs in the 9th, but wasn't quite enough. Tigers win it by the score of 8-6. So I got to go check out the snow and see what we're going on here, and might have to do a little bit of minor shoveling before it gets dark. It's supposed to snow all the way, I think, till 6 o'clock, so it'll be dark then, but I want to at least get a lot of it cleared while I can still see what's going on, whatever's down there, so it won't freeze up tonight. RJL, late's better than never, as they say. And I agree with you also on the Notre Dame thing. Alabama has no business being in. A 3-loss team has, I don't care what conference you're playing in. If you lose 3 games, you don't deserve to be in there. If they losing to Florida State ought to disqualify you off the get-go. That ought to be an instantaneous disqualification. So Notre Dame says, well, if you're not going to put us in the playoff, we're just not going to go to a bowl game, period. And I'm assuming that was the whole team that made that decision, not just the coach or the administration. I don't know how that. I guess they did a vote or something, maybe. I don't know, but they decided not to participate. World's Worst America is nuts about a lot of things, that's for sure. Certainly college football, but they're also nuts about a lot of things. They're nuts about politics. They're nuts about all sorts of stuff. That's the local news around here as James Madison got in. Since that farce of a conference contender, Virginia got whipped by Duke. Not whipped, but they got beat by Duke, which was hysterical. I thought that was so funny. I enjoyed every minute of that game immensely. It just proves just shows the ACC you should have put Miami in the conference championship game instead of Duke. That way you would have had one of those teams in the playoffs automatically without sweating out Miami. But the best team in your conference should be in your conference tournament. How does that not happen? That's just really weird. They're going to have to fix that tiebreaker situation for sure. All right, well, that's it from here. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you all for spending part of your Monday morning with me. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are and whatever you've got going on. I got to go check on Tabby and see if she needs more food or whatnot. So that's going to do it from here. Tigers win it by the score of 8-6. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play. however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road. Have a great day, everybody.